Hello and welcome to Harmonica UK Competitive Festival 2022, once again on video. I'm David Beer, I'm the Adjudicator, and I've been enjoying all your submissions today. There's been some fantastic performances. We started today with the Diatonic Blues and Rock section, and I'm going to talk about the performances that we saw there. We started with Andrew Sutherland. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your Worried Life Blues. It's had a really good sense of the blues style and followed the melody of the vocal very securely in the first verse. It was interesting to hear you playing along with the track because you could follow the vocal phrasing really, really well. I like the second verse where the harmonica echoed and filled in very tastefully between the vocal phrases. I like the chordal solo too. That had a really good rhythmic feel. There was some nice vibrato and some good tonal control with some hand muting on the long notes. I think you could go for a raunchier sound. Just use your breath a little bit more to create that real blues sound, and a little more draw bending perhaps to capture the style a little bit more convincingly. But a very commendable performance there, Andrew. Thank you. Bernie Roy was next with the blues. This was a really nice recording. I guess you did it yourself, and it was a really nice track with some double tracking and some chordal backing too. Lots going on. The solo work had a really nice bluesy sound, some careful bending and a nice mix between single note melody and chordal vamping. Musically, I'd like to have heard a little bit more melody at the start and some development of that, just building in texture or developing the range of the melodies just to hold the interest. I think you could be braver with a melody, just go for a wider range and perhaps a more complex melodic shape. Dave Colclough next. Help Me and Green Onions. This was a good merging of two ideas, the Sonny Boy Williamson tune with the Green Onions riff underpinning the melody really effectively. The playing had a really nice bluesy feel, lots of variety in the melody, some nice bending and a good mix of single note and chordal work. You never overplayed, you used the rest between phrases very carefully. It was just a very subtle and well-balanced performance. Timing was excellent. There was a real rhythmic momentum to the playing. This was really fluent and really enjoyable performance. Thank you very much, Dave. Joe O'Callaghan was next. The blues, and this had great energy and rhythmic drive. There were a couple of places where you got slightly out with the track, but it didn't really spoil the effect. There was some really excellent bluesy riffs, good use of draw bending and some growling, hand muting and vibrato, all the effects there thrown into this. I like the variety and invention in the playing. The stop chorus had lots of really good phrasing, and the chorus before that used some fast chord patterns which really worked well in the context. I presume you made the backing track yourself, and if you did, it was a really good track, so well done for that as well. Then we had Jos, or Jos, I'm not sure how you say your name, I do apologise. This had a really good sense of style, lots of variety in the phrasing as well. I particularly liked the use of dynamics. This was the first performance in this section where anybody used dynamics, and it's something that we can all think about, and just to enhance the playing, give you a wider scope, because you can really create a lot of invention if you use a dynamic range as well as a tonal range. Firstly, you did it on the crescendos, on the chords in the second chorus. I thought that was really good breath control, fantastic build on those long notes. And then a bit later on, there was a quiet chorus which built into a louder chorus, and that added some real excitement to the piece. Overall, I think you could just have a little bit more energy in the flow. Perhaps the phrasing was just a little bit four square, and just a bit more breath support to broaden the tone out a little bit more. But a very nice performance, thank you, and did enjoy the dynamics particularly there. Mike Hatchard was next. Singing and playing really hard to do accurately and fluently, and the interchange between the two was really good. Sometimes because of that, though, the ends of phrases just got cut a little bit short, so just be careful that you do finish one phrase before you swap instruments, as it were. Sometimes the melody got stuck a little bit in the middle range, a bit limited there. You could explore a wider range and just add a few more riffs, but overall, there were some really nice stylistic moments, nice bending, some nice hand vibrato, and the phrasing was generally very fluent. Very nice performance there, Mike. Thank you. Pam, nice to see you, Pam. We met on Zoom the other day with a little feedback session. It was nice to see you play. What I liked about your performance, particularly, was your obvious love of performing and your physical involvement with the music. You were swaying in time to the music, and sometimes the visual performance can really enhance what you do with the instrument as well. It just draws us in. Nice version of the tune. Really try to keep the single notes clear. There were some extraneous notes crept in at times. I didn't think they were deliberate harmonies. They just tended to sound like extra notes. So just be aware of that. Some draw notes didn't always speak, and I think that's perhaps there wasn't enough air passing over the reeds. So really on the draw, really use your breath. I liked your use of hand vibrato and diaphragmatic vibrato on the long notes. So you were sort of different tone creeping in there, and good use of bending. I thought you can dare to aim for a bigger tone. It's perhaps to do with the amount of air that you use, and also just add some dynamic contrasts in too, like I was saying on that earlier performance. We just get some dynamics in there too. But a very nice performance of that tune, Pam. Thank you. And then lastly, Paul Appleton. Very good interpretation of the Sonny Boy Williamson style here. The melody on the top and the chords vamping underneath, really difficult to do, and there was some really well-timed rhythmic playing there, some excellent rhythmic phrasing, lots of interesting tonal variety, and nice change of mouth shape occasionally to create different effects and wah-wah effects and things. It's quite interesting to be able to do that. So with, we can add dynamics, we can add changes of mouth shapes, we can add all sorts of effects like that, vibrato as well. You could perhaps have a greater range in the melody. You tended to get stuck in the same area of the instrument a little bit. I'd like to see a longer piece with a little bit more development of the ideas and a greater range overall. But a really nice Sonny Boy Williamson tribute there. Thank you, Paul. Well, that was a really interesting class, and the results will be coming up any second now.